Jesus' movements and statements in the event at the beginning of John, chapter 8, symbolize the Lord God's actions in creating woman. In the event in John 8, Jesus stoops down twice. A lowercase j symbolizes him stooping down, and an uppercase J symbolizes him standing. The ground symbolizes man, Adam, since he was formed from it. The next slide provides the verses in John 8 and the verses in Genesis, chapter 2, which are symbolized by Jesus' movements and statements. As with the other videos in this playlist, pause the video at any time if you wish to try to discover for yourself the connections, the symbolism. The primary connections are pointed out, but there are additional connections. Jesus stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground. The lowercase j goes into the ground. Not only that, but Jesus' finger penetrates the ground, even if ever so slightly. He straightened up. The lowercase j raises, to become an uppercase J. As it raises, the capital J brings with it some of the ground. The sequence of the stooping and the raising up symbolizes the Lord God removing a rib, where the rib is represented by the amount of ground in the bottom of the J. He who is without sin. This describes both the Lord God and Jesus. Let him be the first. The Lord God was the first to make woman. Throw a stone at her. The word, at, can also indicate presence or occurrence in or on. Building involves placing stones, and placing is a form of throwing. The Lord God built into a woman by placing stones, if we use the symbolism of the John 8 event. Again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. As before, the capital J stoops to become a lowercase j, which lowers into the ground. As the capital J lowers, it brings with it the ground that is in the bottom of it. This ground represents the built woman, Eve, who has been brought back to the man. was left alone. This connects with man, his wife, one flesh. Jesus connects with Adam based on 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 45. Alone. In a sense, Adam was alone again, since he was one flesh, with his wife, Eve. The woman, where she had been. Eve had been in Adam, since she started as his rib. When Eve was brought back to Adam, she was where she had been. That's very fascinating, don't you think? Were those connections intentionally put there by God? Or are they all just coincidences? And are all the connections, among all the videos, mere coincidences? Or is it something in between 100% intentional and 100% coincidence? If it's possible it could be in between, maybe the Bible is worthy of further consideration? Especially when that further consideration can be as enjoyable as discovering for yourself the connections in these videos.